Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Cowboys Overtime here on StarTelegram.com, brought to you by the good people of Window Nation. I am Fort Worth Star Telegram columnist, Mac Engel, joined by my good friend, Mr. Clarence E. Hill Jr. Clarence, Sunday is a big day for both you and I am kind of curious to talk about this before we get into our roundly topics of Dallas Cowboys-related content. It is Father's Day. Father's Day. I keep getting the question, what do you want to do for Father's Day? What do you want for Father's Day? And I cannot think of anything. So I'm going to ask you, you've been a dad longer than me by a few years. How do you celebrate Father's Day?
You know, I think that's our problem. We don't know what we want. We never want anything. Women always want everything. And so, I mean, they got a list. They got a list of gifts.
And it just keeps growing.
Yeah, they got a Christmas list. They got a birthday list. They got a Mother's Day list. They have lists of things they want because they like to buy and they like to shop. I can't tell you what I want. There are a lot of things I like, I guess, but I can't say I want that, whatever else. I can't tell you what I want, so it's tough.
So if you had a chance to celebrate Father's Day, and I know your daughters now are busy. One's in D.C., one's getting ready to college at Rice. What would be, and I know your dad, and the hard part of that is, you know, your dad's no longer with us. So that's tough. If you could celebrate it, though, I didn't even, because you're right. Mother's Day's got this laundry list of crap, beginning with the biggest scam ever, which is brunch. Brunch is overpriced breakfast. That's all it is.
No, let me finish. This is the biggest scam, okay? On Mother's Day, the kids are supposed to be with dad to get the day off. Okay? Right. So they can do what they're doing. That weekend is Mother's Day, we're going to take the weekend off. On Father's Day, the kids are with dad.
Right. It's so true.
Okay.
Dead on.
You need to spend time with your dad.
Well, and
so they get 2 days off, okay?
Right. Because I think one thing that has shifted, and I kind of think this, and my dad's 90, we've talked about this. He said, son, the level of expectations for parenting for dads now is totally different than when I was younger. He said, you guys are way more involved than I ever was. He said, yeah, and my dad wasn't a golfer at all, but my dad worked a lot. Right. And just the level of expectation of what, you know, in terms of the involvement is totally different now. So I'm like, I don't need a day off. I mean, that's fine. I mean, it's totally different, but there's still sort of this figuring out how this is all supposed to fit compared to the way we used to do it, which was probably wrong, compared to the way we do it now, which I would imagine in 20 years we'll say, well, we got it wrong too. So I don't know what to do for Father's Day.
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. I guess I'm going to church, and hopefully my kids will go to church with me.
Hopefully they spend time with you. Hopefully
they'll go to church with me, but go to church. I don't want a tie, okay? I don't want a tie, and I don't want socks, and I don't want underwear.
No, you don't remember this conversation a long time ago. You and I were covering the Cowboys together. This is how long ago this was. We were both in the practice bubble at Valley Ranch in Irving. Right. And this is like 2003, 4, 5, something like that. And I said, what I figured out was I don't want anything. I really don't need anything. You reach a certain age where you probably have it. And whatever you really need is some giant big ticket item that you're not going to do it. But what I really want is for you to want nothing. That's what I want. And you're like, yes, that's it. And that's just as realistic and stupid as the other way around, which is buy me a Ferrari on Mother's Day or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. So that's a tremendous challenge for me as I sit here and look ahead. I'm like, what do I want? Well, I don't want to do it like my dad did, which was to want nothing, to celebrate nothing and all that. I don't want to do that. But I'm also like, yeah, we don't have to do that much. And at the same time, I'm like, well, I got to do something. There's all this pressure to want to do something or want something, and I can't think of anything. So if you got any ideas, let me know.
Just a steak, just steak dinner, a nice fat steak.
Yes,
okay,
that's probably what I want is some fat piece of meat. All right, thank you very much. Happy Father's Day.
Bad at all.
I know I do want some fat, bone-in ribeye steak. Okay. That's not good for me, and it's going to cause me to have a heart attack. Okay, Dallas Cowboys training camp, mini camp is over. They actually went all 3 days last week, which was a bit of a surprise. which basically means the start of summer break for the Cowboys. And Mike McCarthy is here. The next time we will see or hear from them is when they either board the plane or arrive in Oxnard, California, which will be, they haven't officially set the date, I don't think, last week of July. So, Clarence, they made some pretty significant offseason changes, coaching staff, additions of players, departures of players. They say it. You buy it? Are they ready for camp?
I mean, they have no choice but to be ready. Everybody's ready. It's funny thing about this time of year, everybody's optimistic. Everybody's shooting for the Super Bowl. That's the goal. That's the end goal. We love what we do. We love our draft.
We love our guys.
We love our season moves. We feel better, but I do think that this team right now is better than the team that ended the season. It is better than the team that ended the season, and that's something to feel good about. The question is, is Mike McCarthy, him taking over play calling, is that best for this football team? I would say historically he's a better play caller, has had more success than Kellen Moore. He got a Super Bowl on his resume. Kellen Moore don't. He's won multiple division titles and everything else as a play caller. So and he's coached the likes of the Aaron Rodgers, the Brett Favre, Joe Montanas, and the likes, in addition to the Dak Prescott. So we'll see how that works. It's funny, and I've said it many times. The guy's 12-5 and 12-5 in the last 2 years, but there's a feeling that he's coaching for his job in 2023. And if I'm coaching for my job, I'm going to do it my way.
It was a year ago when you and I both agreed with the idea that the Cowboys were not better than the previous season when they were 12-5, not because of the moves that they made. It was because of the moves they didn't make. Right. They let Randy Gregory go. That, I would say, worked out. Randy got his money in Denver, but he couldn't really stay healthy. There were other departures, certainly the trade of Amari Cooper to Cleveland for nothing, which they got by with, but they had a run of pretty good health with some pretty significant players. Leighton Vander Esch played almost the entire season, had a great year. Tank Lawrence, another case, played really, really well, even though this was a guy who had some injury problems in the past. Held up, had a really nice season. Tyron Smith, they lost. Tyler Smith, the rookie, stepped in and did a great job. But we're saying something now that we didn't say a year ago, even though they repeated 12-5 seasons. Why do we think, even though they're better on paper than they were this time a year ago, that all of a sudden they're going to go out and repeat another 12-5 regular season? Because I don't think they are.
I don't think they are either, but you can be a better team and have a better record. It's like, because it depends on who you play. They have a tough schedule this year. The schedule is different. Last year they had one of the worst schedules in the league, based on the opponents. This year they have one of the toughest schedules in the league based on the opponents. They can be a better team and not go 12-5. But as we all know, this is not about 12-5. It's not about the regular season. It's about what they do in the playoffs. Just get to the playoffs. I think they have a chance to get to the playoffs again. They get to the playoffs for the third straight year for the first time since the 90s. Let's see what they do in the playoffs, because that's what they're going to be judged on.
And, you said something, and this is sort of a quick amendment. It's too late to do anything about it. But the more I've thought about this, especially now as, Americans sort of digest some of the European soccer culture and their standings and relegation and whatnot, there's something wrong. There's something wrong here that we, as a sports fan, sports culture, completely disregard the 82-game season, completely disregard 162 games and the success over that in a Major League Baseball season, and now have relegated a 17 NFL game regular season as a warm-up to a quick playoff. NCAA basketball, it's become all about the tournament, which is the hardest thing when you've got to win 6 straight games. It's extremely hard. And I'm sorry, there is something, again, we're not changing it. It's what it is. It's ingrained. But there's something wrong here. The fact that we have completely thrown away a 12-5 regular season.
No,
and I think it's too bad. I think it's too bad.
Well, I think there's something to say about the journey, because you have to go through the journey to get there. But
right?
I think it also says something about the history and the culture and what hasn't happened. And I think in a different city, different place, 12-5 is good. But for a Cowboys team that has not won in 27
Yeah.
years,
Yep.
the fans, they're people that have grown up never knowing the Cowboys to be winners. Your daughter's never seen the Cowboys be winners.
No.
My daughter at 22, daughter at 18, they've never known the Cowboys have any posted success. And they just say, why are the Cowboys such a big deal? They've won nothing. My daughters like to talk trash. Like, what, they have no expectation.
What was it Channing or Gyra who said to you one time, like, they're going to lose? I mean, it was some fatalistic, very cynical sports writer type take on the Cowboys just a couple of years ago. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but it's probably Gyra because she has a smart mouth about football and everything else. And, it's funny. So I think that the culture of only the playoff matters is I hear what you're saying, like with the tournament, but for the Cowboys fan base, that's what it is.
That's what it is, and I understand the notion.
Eagles they've won the Super Bowl, and been to the Super Bowl, and the Cowboys have not even sniffed the NFC title game since 1995, let alone get to the Super Bowl. There's been no playoff success, no lengthy runs, and that's why for a Cowboys team under Jerry Jones, under Mike McCarthy, under Dak Prescott, it's like, yeah, okay, fine. We've seen you have a successful regular season. Right. I've seen you go 13-3 under Tony Romo. I've seen you go 12-4 under Tony Romo. I've seen you go 33 under Dak Prescott. I've seen you go, 12-5, 12-5, and it's always ends with the same first round heartbreak in the playoffs.
And I understand the fan who's invested with their time, their interest, their passion, their money, and they ask themselves, damn it, when's it going to be my turn? I can't. How do you argue with that? And you're like, well, I don't know. And the truth is, Cowboys are going to be really good this year again. And do you trust them in January? I don't know.
But there's no, and we need to go and move on to the next subject because this is a very, very much a nice transition. There's no Hall of Fame quarterback standing in their way. There's no Aaron Rodgers. There's no Tom Brady. It's wide open. Listen, I love Jalen Hurts. I love his story. He's a member of my fraternity. But Jalen Hurts is no different than Dak Prescott. And Brock Purdy, the best teams, Brock Purdy could have won the Super Bowl. So it's not a situation where can Dak do it? Of course Dak can do it. Jalen Hurts did.
Absolutely.
Purdy went to the championship game. Yes, he can do it, but you have to have the right team around him.
And, you talked about Dak Prescott, and Mike McCarthy said it. Mike McCarthy says Dak Prescott owns this offense. Okay, I think I know what it means. Clarence, what does that mean?
The great thing about it was, he said, I don't want to be a guru. And he
Wait a minute. He doesn't want to be a what?
A guru. I don't want to be a quarterback guru. I don't want to be known as a quarterback guru. And it was a great quote. I don't want to be. Of course, he always dropped. All these quarterbacks he's groomed.
Yeah.
He's quick to drop the name of the quarterbacks he's groomed. Okay.
Right. It's not about me or what I've done. But here's my resume.
I don't know how many times he dropped Joe Montana and Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. Let you know, I made these guys.
You're right. These guys aren't Montana and Aaron Rodgers, like Mike McCarthy, but it's not about me.
But we were talking about the offense and the changes in the offense. And he said, at the end of the day, the quarterback needs to own the offense. I have no interest in being known as a guru coach, a smart coach. I want a smart Hall of Fame type quarterback, and Dak has knocked it out of the park. So, the fact that he compared Dak to Hall of Fame quarterbacks, I think was interesting. But he just talked about him owning this new offense. He wants the offense. It's going to be Dak's offense, even though Mike is making changes. And it's funny because Dak, he's adding the West Coast offense philosophies to what the Cowboys were already doing. They call it the Texas Coast offense.
Yeah, I know. Is he familiar with the Texas Coast? Has he seen the seaweed in Galveston? I'm not sure you really wanted to make that comparison.
Well, if you go way down to the border, we got some
like
nice
the Padre. Padres, okay. We're talking about the Padre Coast.
South Padre got some nice blue water now. Come on now.
Okay.
Come on. We got some blue
water.
But
Clarence, real quick before we go to break, have we really in the last 3 years, Clarence, have we thought Dak Prescott's command of the offense was ever a problem?
No, it wasn't. But it's a new offense. We got changes, and so it's a talking point. It's May. We got to talk about. We have to ask him what's changed. What are you doing different? How is Dak adapting with the time you're spending with Dak? Because Mike McCarthy spent more time with Dak this offseason than he ever has because he's the play caller. Shots. In the past it was Kellen Moore who was calling the plays, and they spend the time together. And Mike was the walk around coach. Well, he's the coach of the offense pretty much, and Dan Quinn the coach of the defense. And Mike McCarthy spent a lot of time with Dak and the quarterback coaches, and we're just trying to pick his brain on what's going to be different, what has changed, and he put it all on Dak. This is Dak's offense, on the offense. They have brought the weapons around, and we're going to talk more about some of the weapons, after the break. But unlike last year when they took weapons away, they have added to the weaponry, and that should make a difference for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys in 2023.
There we go. Okay. We'll be back.
Window Nation, the star of window replacement and proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys, can help you fill the house this season with savings. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and make no payments and pay no interest until 2025. Fill your house for a customized authentic Dallas Cowboys jersey while supplies last. You could even help fill the Cowboys house and win tickets to a game. Visit windownation.com/Cowboys now for details. Call 866-95-NATION. Window Nation, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, if you've ever wondered how our producer, the great Candy Bolton, feels about producing this show and her ambition to shut both of us up, that commercial break says everything. She's like, I am sick of listening to both of you. Here's the commercial for Window Nation. I'm tired of faking listening interesting things from Clarence and Mac. Here's Window Nation. Hurry up. Let's be done. Candy, that was an outstanding transition to shut us both up. Good job. Thank you, Window Nation. Okay, Candy, don't worry. We're going to hurry through this. Okay, Clarence, our next topic is actually a good one. Brandin Cooks, the Cowboys' big wide receiver acquisition in the offseason. They could have gotten somebody else. They could have gone after Odell Beckham Jr., which apparently Jerry Jones wanted to. Nobody else did. Or they potentially could have gone after Arizona Cardinals wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, who currently is a free agent. Slay me, brother. Why is Brandin Cooks a better fit than Odell Beckham Jr. or DeAndre Hopkins Jr.? The floor is yours.
He's a better fit on the field, at least from a Cowboys perspective, is because of the speed. The guy still runs 4.3. The guy can pick him up and put him down. I mean, he was running by people last week doing minicamp. Like they were standing still. There was a sight to see. We haven't seen that. They need a guy to complement CeeDee Lamb, complement Michael Gallup, who can truly take the top off the defense. That was something they were looking for last year. But I think that just talking to a scout, recently, he was the better fit for the culture of the room because he's not a prima donna. He's a hard worker. You can say what you want about him being traded so many times, but no one has a bad word about him. And just the early returns on what he's meant to this Cowboys locker room and his impact on the young receivers, whether it's Jalen Tober or even a CeeDee Lamb or Michael Gallup, his work ethic, talk to him about taking care of their bodies, talking to him about route running, just being a mature man in that room. It was something they needed. And like I said, it's already taken hold. I mean, he is having a fast impact on the field and a swift impact in the locker room. And comparably, they don't think they would have gotten that from Odell Beckham or a DeAndre Hopkins. First of all, Odell Beckham has not even been – Odell Beckham signed an $18 million deal with Baltimore. He did not go to the offseason program. He did not participate in OTA.
Is anybody surprised? He
showed up for OT. I mean, he's just showed up for the minicamp, but he's not helping the young guys. He's not doing –
He's not going to.
And the same thing with they didn't feel DeAndre Hopkins would be the same type of impact in the locker room. And they also feel that he can't run anymore. So
I don't know about that one.
They love what they got from Brandin Cooks.
Because Brandin Cooks played for a bad Texans team, And I'll put you on the spot here, and I feel so. Ride with me on this.
I'm right.
One of the things I remember, just in sports in general, but certainly in the NFL, when you talk about one guy, you say, "Who's he like?" Now it's not like, "Oh, he's like Jerry Rice." Give me a break. Or, well, he's got Jordan in him. That was always my favorite about 6'6" guards for a while who could shoot and handle the ball. I always like Jordan. Yeah, no, he's not. Give me a Brandin Cooks comp. Who's a Brandin Cooks comp that we can sit there and say, oh, okay, I can visualize that, because I didn't watch Texans games because nobody did. You think of anybody?
I can't think. I shudder to say a poor man's Tyreek Hill because of the juice he adds to the offense. I mean, he's not Tyreek Hill. Never was Tyreek Hill. But the guy has 6 1,000-yard season with 4 different teams. He's produced everywhere he's gone. He's been a deep threat everywhere he's gone. He's a threat to go to the house, go the distance. Was a short pass.
Is he a younger Amari Cooper?
Well, I just think they're different. Amari Cooper was fast, but Amari Cooper was a route runner. He was a route runner. He was a route running king. Just different. He may have more passion than Amari Cooper. I think Amari Cooper's passion or lack of passion is what doomed him in Dallas, in addition to not getting a shot. But I think he may have more passion. But like I said, I said a poor man's. I didn't say Tyreek Hill. But
I know. But I mean, Tyreek is a guy that you can play in multiple spots. Brandon is an outside guy. So when I'm thinking of a man.
He's not an outside. He's a slot guy. He does everything. I mean, he's 5'9". He's 5'8". I mean, outside guys.
Are they going to run him? Are they going to line him up in a running back spot?
I don't know what they're going to do with.
They're not going to line him up in a running spot.
But they're going to get the ball to him, and he's going to catch the hitches. He's going to catch the wide receiver screens. He's going to go deep. Again, he's a professional receiver, and he's someone that they need. He's bringing some juice to the offense that they didn't have.
All right. Oh, so what you're describing as a shorter guy is T.Y. Hilton when T.Y. was in his prime years with the Colts, maybe?
Something like that, sure.
Okay. Last topic we're going to talk about. Candy, be on the lookout so you can cut me off here at the end when we're done with this last topic. The college baseball and college athletics season is coming to an end. It always ends in Omaha, Nebraska. It takes forever, but it will end at the end of the month. And TCU continues what may be, but is the best year athletically in the school's history. This started last August with football minicamp when the backup quarterback, who was a 3-year incumbent, wasn't even the starter. Max Duggan wasn't even the starter. TCU goes on to win a college football playoff game, got killed in the national championship game. The men's basketball team goes to the NCAA tournament, wins a game before losing in the second round. Soccer team makes the Sweet 16, on and on and on. They had all these highlights, all these superlatives. And now the baseball team, the TCU baseball team, won its super regional over the weekend against number 14 Indiana State to make the College Baseball World Series in Omaha for the first time since 2017. Clarence, you're a native Texan. You grew up here. You can speak to this, at least historically. When you were a kid, I'm talking like 80s, even when you were a student at UT, could you have ever foreseen a day when TCU would become what it has in terms of power athletics and just terms of its relevance across the board? Did it ever?
No.
Would this have ever crossed your mind?
No, because TCU was a cockroach. I mean, if you're old enough to remember a cockroach, it was about what they fell in and messed up. It's not about what they did, and certainly they had some. I remember the Whacker days, but then it was a cheating scandal, and so you never really took them seriously as a serious contender. That was going to have this type of impact, this type of success. I credit Steven Johnson. I think it's Steven Johnson. I think it's all this happened because Steven Johnson showed up last summer, and TCU can't do any wrong in any sport. And the thing about the baseball thing is, they were an average baseball team for much of the season. Okay.
Yeah, they were.
Then they got
23 and 20. They were 23 and 20.
They were an average baseball team for much of the season. 2 years after they lose their Hall of Fame type coach to A&M, and they were an average baseball team for much of the season, and they get hot in the Big 12 tournament, that hot streak. I mean, that's just this. It's like this. It's just out of nowhere. I mean, even the football team, no one expected the football team, and that's what makes it even more special, because no one expected the football team, especially new quarterback, new coach, to do what they did. And no one expected this baseball team to do what they did. So it's kind of a cherry on top of the season because it's kind of it's one thing we have expectations. They didn't have those expectations, and to have this type of wild success, coming from meager means, that's what makes it even more special.
So real quick, as a Texas alum, you remember about however many years ago, UT was in a really special run. They had Rick Barnes doing well with the men's basketball team. The football team was at all-time highs under Mac Brown, going to the championship game, winning the Rose Bowl, Vince Young. I mean, everything was going right. And I remember former Texas Rangers owner and Dallas Stars owner Tom Hicks, who was a significant Texas alum and booster, saying, enjoy this now, because this doesn't always happen. And he was telling anybody with ears who was a UT fan, enjoy this now. Just because it's happening now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen next season. You as a UT fan have seen them go high and now low. So tell your TCU brethren how important it is. You better enjoy this now and don't take it for granted.
No, I think they should enjoy it, of course. But I think that they're, again, that the expectations are different at Texas and TCU. And I think that, with the coach, and certainly in football, they have a chance to sustain some of their success. I don't know if they'll get back to the championship game. But again, if they don't get back, people at TCU will remember this forever.
For sure.
And this magical season we remember forever, be talked about forever. And so certainly enjoy it. I don't know if I can say this. I remember in 2005 when they won the championship, I was telling my friends, winning the championship is better than sex. Because I can enjoy this. I can relive this. I can
enjoy this.
I'm just saying.
That's great.
I'm just saying that I always have this memory. It's the exhilaration of winning a national championship. It's there's nothing like it, man. I'm just telling you, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
Hey, Candy, would you do me a favor?
You can enjoy with everybody. And you can enjoy with everybody, all your friends. We all get to enjoy this high.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, TC
Candy,
fans,
would you do
enjoy
me a
this
favor?
moment.
I got you. Candy, do me a favor. Would you isolate that clip where he says, this is better than sex? I get to enjoy this, and make that like a TikTok or an Instagram reel.
No.
Please. You said it. You said it. I wanted the record to show I completely stayed away from all business parents. Chill Hill. You can find him on Twitter, Facebook, StarTelegram.com. You can have the further this discussion with him. Okay, it's not going to get better than that. Thank you very much, Clarence. TCU in the College World Series starts Friday against Roberts. Enjoy it, because apparently, according to Clarence, it's a lot better than sex.
If you win it all.
Yeah, you got to win it all.